Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Mount Carmel Area High School Silver Bowl, where tonight the Mount Carmel Area Red Tornadoes will open up their home stand for the year 2000 by entertaining the Panthers of Panther Valley, and also a little sidelight here, Coach Mike Brennan's debut before the home crowd. Of course, we opened on the road, Wayne, last week against Wyomissing with a big win.
I'll tell you what, a big win when you take a look at the type of day it was on a horrendous day. It was definitely hot, but the kids were firing on all cylinders last week. As you look at that game and watch the whole aspect from the kickoff right to the very last gunshot there at the end, there was nothing at fault. Looking at the weather and how hot it was, Coach did an excellent job of getting fresh legs in, giving kids rest. As we had seen, John Veach had a wonderful game. He had 246 yards, and it just sort of crept up on you, and he only played half the game.
Yeah. I mean, truly an amazing performance. By the way, that gunshot you heard at the end of the game was me being put out of my misery. And it was not actually the end of the game, just to clarify that.
I was wondering why they kept on going. I couldn't understand that.
Of course, last week we ended our series with the Spartans of Wyomissing, as we talked a little bit last week. That series is ending, and we'll be playing someone new. But this week we're playing an old foe, a familiar foe, a foe that we have played through the many years under a lot of different names, Lansford, Coaldale, Nescahoning, you name it. So we go a ways back with this group, and of course what we can remember of this team, if nothing else, is that they're going to come and play hard-nosed football, a little different than Wyomissing, although Wyomissing was a big squad size-wise, not the kind of squad that was real aggressive and real hard-hitting. This team, on the other hand, is going to bring a whole different brand of football into the game. They lost a game last week to Lehighton, a traditional rivalry, almost a Shamokin Mount Carmel type of rivalry for them. And unfortunately, the game was played in a horrendous downpour during almost the entire game. And it ended up with them they're shutting down the game in the second half before it was over. So it ended early.
And that wasn't the only game in the whole region that was stopped for that reason. There was actually a game that was stopped just into the third quarter. A game out in the western part of Pennsylvania ended up 14-14. The game was called, and it is legitimately a tie.
Yeah.
In the state of Pennsylvania now, you don't play to a tie, you go down to your sudden death, and they did that. But because of the weather and everything, that was it.
So the Panthers were shut out, actually, by Lehighton 24-0. So their offense not able to gain a whole lot of yardage or score a lot of points last week. But we expect a little different game from them tonight. It is a perfect evening for football. I mean, absolutely perfect. Temperature's right where you want it. It's crystal clear, not a hint of rain, and everybody's ready for a big game. We're going to look at the Panthers, and if you watched them last year we traveled to Panther Valley and, of course, nearly lost the football game. We ended up winning 18-12, but it was one of those wins where you end up hanging on for dear life at the end of the game, hoping you don't lose it.
You're right, and it was a game where whoever had the ball last was the winner, and that's exactly what had happened.
So we expect a really good game here tonight. We're going to be looking at the number 42, Kerry Frank, down deep, but he's the deepest man of the group down there, and Yasenchak from Mount Carmel area will tee it off to get this game started. So we look forward to a rock'em sock'em kind of football game as we're used to with the Panthers. It goes deep, but it's going to go to number 3, Davis. And 8. That's Kresak. And Kresak gets around the end and gets all the way up to the 40-yard line where he's taken out of bounds by John Veach. So they open up the game in good field position with a nice run back, and will start at their own 40-yard line. The guys to watch in this football game, if you remember from last year, the quarterback Ken Zaneri and number 22 Blazowski are the two guys that really carried the offense. We'll watch those two guys in particular. Ken Zaneri's on a keeper, and he's going to look to pass. And he was trying to get the ball out there to number 25, Werner, but he was well covered by number 6, Yasenchak. It'll bring up a second down and 10.
Okay, setting up the defense for Mount Carmel, the two defensive ends, number 40 Ziegler and Cuff, number 69. The two tackles, Randy Swank, number 54, and Matt Booker, number 50. The nose guard, number 31, Dave Brown.
Hands off to number 22, Blazowski. Blazowski tried to get outside. He's going to be hit by Yasenchak and taken down. Going to gain about 2 yards. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 8 for the Panthers.
Setting up the defense, the rest of the defense, number 21, Matsur, the linebacker, number 6, Yasenchak. Number 2 out here in the corner is Clea, number 2, 26, Ron Lentini, Veach, number 25, the free safety.
Be a penalty on the line of scrimmage. One of the Panthers got out of his stance early. It'll be 5 yards. It'll bring up 3rd down and 18 or 13 as they mark off the 5-yard penalty. But Canzoneri is a guy a little bit, we talked about him a little bit as they march it off. He is one dangerous quarterback. Yes. He was well-renowned last year, and this year coming in is even more so thought of. So he's a guy you absolutely have to watch. He's a senior quarterback. He's 6'2", 285 pounds, so he's kind of a prototype quarterback, a lot like what we're bringing to the line of scrimmage with Shinsky. So he's a definite threat every time he drops back. And drop back he does. He's going to be he hands off on a quick handoff inside to Blazowski, and Blazowski is hit by Swank and Yasenchak and brought down for a loss on the play. So Mount Carmel area is smelling that play out, brings up now 4th and probably 14 now or 15. He lost about a yard on the play. So Panthers will go back in punt formation. Trying to see who's back there punting for them. That's Blazowski. He's going to put it to Veach. Veach takes it on his 35, gives ground a little bit, tries to turn around the corner, upfield over the 40, up to the 45, and he's going to go out of bounds about the 49-yard line of the Red Tornado. So a nice run back by John Veach as he was in heavy traffic when he caught it and still managed to get around the end. And we tee it up there at the 49.
Well, that's a little extra that you're going to see now tonight. A little bit cooler night. It's going to give everybody fresh legs. They rebound very quickly, so they are in shape, the way Coach was talking.
Shinsky brings them up. Quick hand off to Ziegler up the middle, and Ziegler bangs down to the Panther Valley 45-yard line where it'll bring up a 2nd down and 4. 6 yards on the carry for Ziegler, and he has taken up where he left off last week, Wayne.
And it's the whole part of keying on John Veach here with Ziegler. Ziegler is a hard runner, and all Ziegler needs to do is just get through the hole. The linebackers are sort of kicking out and following the motion of John Veach, and that's giving Ziegler more time.
This time we hand to Veach right up the middle. Veach breaks through the line, 1st down and then some, as he brings it down to the Panther Valley 35-yard line, picks up about 9 yards on the play, and a penalty flag is down on the field right at the point of the tackle. I believe that's going to go against the Panthers.
Yeah.
Although I didn't see the initial signal, it may be a face mask or a holding somewhere right down there, and it's an unsportsmanlike. So somebody did a no-no as they were bringing John down, and that's going to tack on more big yardage to the end of that play.
Okay, as they're walking this off, let's get the offensive line in here. We got Randy Swank, number 54, the center. Nick Cuff, guard, number 69. Number 50, guard, right guard, Matt Booker. Number 59, Nick Bierster. Or number 63, Tom Bagshinsky. Number 55, Dave Shoppy.
15-yard penalty, puts the ball down on the Panther 20-yard line now with 10:16 here to go in the first period of play. Hand off to Veach deep in the backfield. He's turning the corner, and he's going to get down to about the 20-yard line. He'll only pick up about a yard on the play.
Boy, you talk about some power that time. They brought number 6, Yasenchak, over from the left side to the tight end on the right-hand side. They brought Matsura over with him, and they led with the blocker right in front of Veach through the right-hand side, looking to bust the seam through for him.
2nd and 9 for the Tornadoes now. The ball at the 19-yard line. And the Panthers are a big team. That front line is a big front line. And you look at them size-wise. Shinsky looking to pass all kinds of time. He's looking for number 2 in the corner there. And he had clear right in the corner of the end zone, although he was very well covered that time by Matt Davis, the senior cornerback, who was standing right with him as he made the turn and got his hands in front of the ball. So it'll bring up a 3rd down and 9 now for the Red Tornadoes from the 19.
And we talked about that offensive line last week, giving Dave so much time. Now you see Dave going back in the shotgun and being able to stand back there without even backpedaling and be able to watch all of his receivers, primary and secondary receivers.
Right up the middle goes Veach. And Veach is going to get down to about the 16-yard line. It's going to bring up a 4th down and about 4 for the 1st down.
Okay, the wide receiver there, number 2, Josh Glea. 37 will come in at times, Johnny Kerpridge. We got the other tight end, number 6, Vince Yasenchak. In the backfield, the quarterback, of course, number 8, Dave Shinsky. Number 40, Aaron Ziegler. John Veach, the tailback, number 25. And Steve Matsura, number 21, working the slot.
Shinsky goes back to pass. He looks around. He has big number 6, Yasenchak, and he just got it behind him. Yasenchak had to try to make the turn to get the catch, and Mount Carmel will turn the ball over on downs, down on the 14-yard line of the Panthers. So the Panthers dodge a bullet here and turn the Red Tornadoes away on their first drive of the evening.
And back on the defensive side, the left-hand cornerback over there is number 85, Justin Dillow.
Got Blazowski and Werner in the backfield now, and the ball's going to go to Blazowski as he comes over the 15-yard line down to the 16-yard line. It'll bring up a 2nd down and about 7 for the Panthers.
Again, I don't.
Dave Brown and Cuff on that stop.
You wonder, as we look through the films, that time if you watch Lentini, they had a wide receiver to the right-hand side of the field, and Lentini went over into that slot position there.
This time Canzaneri hands it off to the slot back who was lined up in the slot formation. He takes it out to about the 24-yard line where he'll pick up a 1st down. It's Matt Davis on the carry, and I believe he's now where they placed it, he's going to be very close if he hasn't gotten it. They did not signal a 1st down. In fact, he does not have it. It's 3rd down and less than a yard, Wayne, where they were. I thought he was over that mark, but they brought it back.
Yeah, they brought it back a little bit. Panther Valley's running some nice plays here in this series. They're running a power to one side, some misdirection, and running back to the weak side.
Hands off to Werner, first man in the backfield, and he pops over the 25-yard line up to the 28-yard line and pick up the 1st down. So be 1st and 10 for the Panthers from their own 33-yard line.
Well, the defensive line at this point is controlling the center of the line. The last couple plays that they did try to run up the center, the defense is actually blocking the center. Their running backs are running into their own players 2 yards behind the ball, the line of scrimmage. They're then, in turn, kicking out to the outside or trying to find a place to run.
Split backfield this time for Canzaneri as he brings him up. And he keeps it and drops back, and he's going to roll the pass. He's under heavy pressure, and he finds number 8, Trevor Krizak, for the reception all the way up at the Panther Valley 42-yard line where it's 1st and 10 Panthers.
Good play. He was feeling some heat from Nick Cuff that time, and he just barely got the ball off in time. There was a receiver downfield about 7 yards. That ball, when the receiver tried to get it, jump up in the air, it went through his hands, and the reception was made downfield.
Well, we warned you that Canzaneri can make the play. He really is. He's a big, strapping quarterback, and he has good vision. This time he hands it to Blazowski, and Blazowski is going to pick up short yardage. Number 40, Ziegler actually screwed that play up. Getting off the bottom of that pile is Yasenchak, but Ziegler's the one that turned it inside and got it back into the wash, and that was pretty much the end of the play.
But take a notice, you see how strong this runner is. He was hit 2 yards behind the line, and he still picked up 3 yards. So he is a good running back. He's showing what he can do.
2nd and 8 now for the Panthers from their own 48-yard line. Lazowski this time, and he's brought down by Swank. And Swank came right up the middle, penetrated the line, and brought Lazowski down before he could get a move. He's going to lose 3 yards on the play. It's going to bring up a third down and 11.
Yeah, back to the original line of scrimmage, and Swank has been doing that since the opening kickoff. He's been making good penetration on that left-hand side and disrupting anything that's going over in his direction.
Canzoneri goes back in the pass, and he's going to be brought down big time by Ziegler. Ziegler came on touch from the corner there at the defensive end position. Canzoneri had nowhere to go, and the loss was all the way back to the, well, I looked like the Panther 36, but they brought it up to the 38. But it's going to bring up a 4th down and 17 in a punting situation for the Panthers.
Well, I didn't know where Canzoneri was even going to throw that ball. On that pass pattern, they only had 2 guys out. We had at least 6 back in each of the zones. It was completely covered.
Blazowski will go back in punt formation for the Panthers, and he's going to be punting to either Clea or Veach deep for Mount Carmel area, and they're deep about the 30-yard line. Nice high kick, kind of a floater. It's going to bounce out of bounds.
And he put it right on the out-of-bounds marker.
Right at the 36-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Red Tornadoes.
Well, in 2 weeks now, we've seen some very good punts the first half of the Wyomissing game. If you remember, the first one actually went over everybody's head. It was a line drive. There, in that case, it was a nice high punt. And that's, what you want. Out of bounds, too, because they don't want the threat of John Veach running that ball back on you.
Hands off to Veach. Veach over the 40-yard line. He breaks free, gets past Davis on a nice cut, and he's still moving, still on his feet. And he's going to be brought down all the way down at the Panther Valley 44-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for Big Red, and another great run by John Veach.
I'll tell you look at some of the downfield blocking, but the only way John Veach can get to where he gets on a 20-yard pickup or so is by that interior line and the blocking. John is through there so quick, and he's already past the linebackers, and he's picking. He's looking downfield to see where the blockers are at.
Shinsky back to pass. It looks for Clea. Ball was hit at the line of scrimmage and deflected, where it falls harmlessly to the ground. Then it brings up a 2nd and 10. The Panthers, Wayne, playing a 4-3 defense. Not one we see a lot during the year. Everybody's kind of a 50 defense these days in high school, or like to be.
Well, 50s, we see some 4-4s. Southern will throw it at us.
Right,
We saw about 4 teams that ran the 4-4 last year on us. Panther Valley is noted for that. They've been running this defense for quite a few years now.
See how they shift everybody to the side where they knew the play was coming. And Veach turns the corner, and Veach will pick up the 1st down. Now, there's an instance where the entire Panther Valley secondary and linebacking corps took that step to their left because they saw the overload on the right side of the Mount Carmel area line. There's a Panther player down on the sideline, and I can't catch his number right this minute. But you saw what can happen when you have good blocking. Even when they load the side up, he still turns the corner and still gets the 1st down. So even when you know the play, sometimes it's difficult to defense it if they're running it perfectly.
The killer with John is, the Panther Valley is they're just satisfied with trapping him on the sideline and giving him, 10 yards. It's John's cutting back ability where you have your, he's going against the flow. You're tripping over your own feet, trying to turn around to catch up with him, or even to get in his direction. So, I guess they're just satisfied with bringing their whole defense over to the power that Mount Carmel is showing and trapping John against the sign. The only problem with that is, don't forget, you have Matsura that's sitting back there.
All right.
You run a reverse, their whole defense is flown in one direction, and you bring John this way and run a reverse the other way. It's going to break your back because nobody's over there to protect you.
Number 25 was injured for the Panthers. He's Werner. Werner was the playing fullback for most of the offensive series so far in this game for the Panthers. So he's not someone they want to lose, but they're also looking at his lower leg, knee, or ankle from what I can tell, and that's never a good thing when you're the running back. So we'll see how that turns out. But obviously the Panthers can ill afford to lose some of his talent in that backfield.
It is amazing, though, if you take a look at the Panther Valley squad year in and year out. They probably bring one of the biggest teams onto the field that we play.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look at these guys. You're looking at 260, 225, 280, 260, 230. All right, this is a big 245. This is a group here.
Yep.
You know, and one thing about them is they're big and they're ugly tough. You know, they're the kind of guys that are always scrapping at you, always poking at you. So they play the same kind of football as we do, and that's why we've had such good games with this crew over the last, I'd say, like 10 years when they really revitalized this program. They were kind of a doormat for a long time, had a heck of a time generating any kind of winning seasons. But they were a District 11 finalist. They played in the semifinals last year.
And they played Pius X.
Yes.
And that's who we will be picking up.
We will be picking up next year in the first game.
So that shows you, and Pius X had gone on pretty far. 2 or 3 years ago, they had an excellent team. So it shows you the caliber that Pius X is bringing onto the field.
And this is a team that, and we talked about this team a little bit over the last few years. You know, if you watch this football program and you see what's going on, and you know the fact that we always play them, but they have been racked by coaching problems in that coaches keep leaving. And, you know, whatever that reason might be, and I don't know, and I don't want to speculate what it is, but it's very tough on a program. And again, tonight they came in with a new coach, Coach Mike Lush, and he's a first-year guy on the sideline. So it's very difficult on a team to continually change coaches like that. And I guess he's the fourth one, in the last 6 or 7 years probably that they've had. So it makes it very difficult to have any kind of, continuity in the program, and I think that shows a little bit. Although I'm not taking anything away from Mike Lush, of course. I mean, he so far out here has a heck of a football team. 25 is limping off, and the way he's moving, I'm not sure if we'll see him or not. He is not bending his knee much, or his ankle for that matter, but he's walking off kind of on his own power, so we'll wait and see. My guess is with Werner out of the backfield, we'll start to see 24 Kohler in the offensive backfield for the Panthers. At least that's the way they look on their depth chart. It's a 1st and 10 for the Red Tornadoes. The ball sitting down on the Panther Valley 33-yard line, and Shinsky's ready to set them up.
We got wide right here. We got Clea, number 2. We got Johnny Kerpich over on the left side, right behind Yasenchak.
Double shift with Kerpich and Yasenchak now move completely opposite. And we toss out quickly to Veach, who's going to try to get around the end. He had it blocked, but he had a nice cutback, and he brings the ball down to about the 29-yard line or so. It's going to be a pickup of about 4. It'll bring up 2nd down and 6 for the Red Tornadoes.
I'll tell you what, that was a great play. You have to give Panther Valley the credit. That defensive end just totally sprinted over and cut John Veach back into the field. So you see the ability that John has. He was trapped over there. It could have been a loss, and with his mobility, he picked up 5 yards.
They put Kerpich and Clea wide right now in the formation as Shinsky hands off to Veach right up the middle. And Veach is picking up big yards as he again cuts to the sideline. And he's going to bring it down to the 14-yard line of the Panthers, where it'll be once again a 1st down for Red Tornadoes. And just there's not a lot of things you can keep saying. It was just a typical John Veach run.
You know, you actually need a calculator now to start keeping the total that Johnny's doing.
Yeah.
We saw in that first game, and we said and he was taken out, and probably with 3 minutes gone in the second period, and also in the fourth period he was taken out with 6 minutes out, and he still picked up 246 yards.
Shinsky drops back to pass, and he's looking at Matsura there, and he has him. He has Matsura down to about the 6-yard line of the Panthers. It's going to bring up a 2nd down and about 3. A gain of 7 on the pass play. Shinsky to Matsura, on the play.
Now you see Matsura's coming out. Number 31, the big boy, Dave Brown, is going in. And Well, last week he takes that blocking position in the backfield between him and Ziegler. That's a tandem there, I'll tell you.
Veach on the handoff right up the middle, and Veach just pounds it up the middle, and there it is, ladies and gentlemen. The first points of the home season here for the Red Tornadoes as they jump out to a 6-0 lead over the Panthers with Medalis going in for the extra point.
It looks like Coach Brennan sighed a relief there. I think he was under a little bit of pressure here to score at the home field.
Shinsky will be the holder for Medalis as Medalis lines up the kick and kicks it high, very high. The referees are waiting for it to come down, and he got it. I mean, that's as high of an extra point kick as you might see, but it's good. And the Mount Carmel area Red Tornadoes at the 2:14 mark of the first period here at the Silver Bowl have jumped out to a 7-0 lead over the Panthers of Panther Valley. Typical Mount Carmel drive, some running, some passing, just some great offense. And this is really, now that we see it in the second game, and the first one you always wonder because you wonder what Wyomissing was, and the conditions there were so horrible that it's hard to judge even us, but it looks like this offense is going to be very, very difficult to stop over a period of the season.
Well, you're talking about so many guns that he's coming out with. First of all, you got the quarterback, Dave Shinsky, that can hit anybody with pinpoint accuracy, any place on the field, and also run the ball. We've seen him last week take the ball. You know, he got trapped. He kicked out to the outside and took the ball. You got John Veach. You got Ziegler back there that's running wild as the blocking fullback yet. You got your tight end number 6 that can catch the ball. Now we haven't thrown to in years. We got Kerpridge that can catch the ball. We got Clay at it. We got Matsur in the backfield. Lentini's been coming in the first game. So there are just so many weapons that this team has this year. I think everybody's going to be pleased with what they see as this season goes on.
Senchak boots it, and he takes it all the way down to about the 10-yard line where Blazowski takes it. I'm sorry, that's not Blazowski. 42. That's 42, Kerry Frank. And he kind of did a slide into first base there. He was going down and tried to cut. So the Panthers will bring the ball into play at the 26-yard line, their own 26-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for Canzoneri and his group.
Yeah, Blazowski ran last year for 1,078 yards, so he's capable of doing a lot. And the quarterback also has thrown for over 1,000 yards last year.
Canzoneri gets back to pass, and he's looking over in the sideline there. He was trying to hit number 8, which is one of his favorite receivers, and that's Kresak. He was covered over there by Dillo and well covered at that, so it'll bring up a 2nd down and 10 for Big Red.
I mean, I'll tell you what, you take a look at that picture in the Reading Eagle on Sunday where Justin Dillo is reaching in on that pass play.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, that was a picture-perfect defense and a great pitcher. I'll tell you what, that's one for the refrigerator.
Toss back to Blazowski, and Blazowski is stopped probably before the line of scrimmage at the 25-yard line. So he'll lose a yard. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 11 for the Panthers.
Again, the interior of that line is shown again this year so far, second game, that they're going to be hard to move out of there. I think it's starting to get to be a tradition in the history of the last couple of years that those 3 interior linemen are going to be the toughest.
Split backfield for the Panthers as Canzoneri looks to go back into pass formation, and he does. He looks downfield, and he has a guy streaking down that left sideline. Dillo covered him like a blanket and then almost made the interception as he turned and was in better position for the ball than was the receiver, Kresak. So it's going to bring up a 4th down and 11 for the Panthers and a punting formation. And the Mount Carmel defense here in the last 2 series has definitely tightened it up and have not let the Panthers have anything. So we'll see if that continues. Blazowski back in punt formation, and he'll again punt to either Clea or Veach. Nice punt, and he punts it right to Clea, who turns upfield at the sideline there. Cuts back to the middle, on his feet, still moving, and he brings it all the way down to the Panther Valley 38-yard line where it'll be 1st and 10. And again, Mount Carmel area will line up with great field position here to start this offensive series.
Great run back by Josh. That time there was no rush on the punter. What we had was the wall set up on our own bench side on the home side over here. But unfortunately, the ball was kicked to the right side of the field, and Josh did what he had to do, and that was to pick up as much yardage running straight as possible.
We have a timeout on the Panthers side of the ball. Coach Mike Lush is coming out to talk to his charges, and of course, to him, this is probably a critical juncture in the football game. There's 1 minute and 10 seconds left here in the first period. The Mount Carmel area is setting up with excellent field position and showing that on offense, at least, they're pretty unstoppable. And I think he's saying to himself, if I don't squeeze these floodgates closed a little better than they are, I could get this thing running away from me before halftime. So I'm sure that's what he's out telling his guys. One thing we see here, the Panthers do not bring a lot of speed here. I mean, not to say they're the slowest team on earth, but when you compare them to us or compare them to Wyomissing, where you had Johnson out there and McCready. I don't see that kind of speed from these guys. Certainly in the backfield, although Blazowski's going to do some running on you, and he showed us that last year, not the blazing speed or breakaway speed in the backfield from either one of those guys, or all three of them actually, because you got Werner and you may see Kohler in there depending on what they're doing, but I don't think between the three of them they're going to run away from you.
We're going a wide slot to the right side.
Shinsky on an inside handoff, and he handed it off to Ziegler, who's going to get off the bottom of that pile down there. So Ziegler takes it down to about the 31-yard line of the Spartans. Big number,
not the 36.
36, I'm sorry. Big number 56, Keegan McKee. He's a senior 200-pound linebacker, brought him down. Brings up a 2nd down and 8, 2 yards on that carry. And this time Shinsky looks to pass all the time in the world. He looks over at Clea. He has him. Clea makes a nice move in the open field, turns back, and he'll bring the ball down to the Panther Valley 22-yard line, where once again it will be 1st and 10 as the Red Tornadoes continue to churn up first downs. Although there is a flag down, and it is back in the Mount Carmel area backfield, so we'll wait and see what that call is going to be. Although it's going to go against the Panthers, unfortunately. Big number 78, Harry Gasker, the 240-pound defensive end, was out there arguing, but it's going to be roughing the passer. Another harmful penalty if you're the Panthers. So with the ball sitting currently down around the 22-yard line, it's going to end up going all the way down to the 12-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 from about the 12-yard line for the Mount Carmel Red Tornadoes, and that's exactly what Coach Lush did not want to see happen, and it did anyway.
Now we got Kerpich in a slot. Now he goes in motion.
Hands off to Veach. Right, Veach cuts in, keeps churning. He's going to take it down to the 1-yard line. That's as tough a run as you're going to see, Wayne.
I'll tell you what, watching John, he gets that first 5 yards, you don't know what he's going to do. He can pick up the rest of the yardage all on his own ability. He is getting some outstanding. I'll tell you what, if you take a look at some of the replays that we have here, look at the downfield blocking that occurs for John. Even if it's just a shield, everybody is down there working hard. Nobody's standing around. We're looking for someone to put down on the turf, and that's what's given John his extra yardage to pick up here.
That's the end of the first period, ladies and gentlemen, with the score of Mount Carmel area 7 and Panther Valley 0, with Mount Carmel area knocking on the door with a 1st and 10 from the 1-yard line. This is the time to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you are watching WKMC TV, and we are broadcasting directly from the campus at Mount Carmel Area High School every Wednesday night at 8 p.m., courtesy of the Service Electric System on Channel 13. Tune in and see us every week of the football season, and some in the basketball season and some in the wrestling season, so we kind of covered them all. But for now, we're going to be on Wednesday nights throughout this football season. And we are an instructional fixed television service. I know all of you wanted to know that, and I wanted to make sure you did before we got into the second quarter. So it could be a tough night for the Panthers, Wayne, if they don't tighten this thing up. They've had poor field position for the whole game. First of all, this here in the first quarter.
In the beginning of the first quarter to the middle of the first quarter, they were moving the ball a little bit. They did get over the 50-yard stripe. They got down around the 40. Mount Carmel took over. From that point on, they sort of held the Panthers down inside that red zone around the 20-yard line. Panthers were having a difficult time trying to kick out.
The big house backfield in there. And he hands it straight off to, I believe, Ziegler. And Ziegler, I don't see there it is.
Yep.
That took a while. Touchdown, Mount Carmel area. So that'll take the score up to 13-0 with Medalis trotting in for the extra point. But that was certainly a let's think about it touchdown for the officials before they made the call.
Yeah, they didn't want to call that one. And the one referee was standing right on the line, right on the goal line.
Again, Medalis pops it high up in the air, and it's good. So the second one of the evening for him, and it brings the score 14-0 in Mount Carmel area favor. Give me a real quick chance here. I'll run down who those referees are for you tonight. Tonight's game, of course, it's the crew from Charles Buzz Carr out of Siddings Grove. We got Paul Stover coming out of Milton, Charles Moll again from Siddings Grove, Dale Walters in Sunbury, and Rick White out of Dalmatia. So sort of a local flavor here. For the referees and the officials here tonight. And once again, Mount Carmel area lining up to kick it off. We were at Supper Club last night, Wayne, and of course another big night. Capacity crowd, we're packing them in, and it was really.
Yeah, we had chicken parmesan too.
Yeah, I was thinking about chicken parmesan, so I stopped talking for a minute. So I stopped talking a little bit about it, but I can't tell you how much fun it is. Coach Brennan is absolutely fantastic. You have to come down just to meet this guy. I mean, talk about charismatic and a presence in the room. He is really something, and just going out of his way to tell us about everything and keeping us informed and letting us ask any questions. So if you got a Thursday night that has nothing on it to do, or even if it does, cancel it and come down to the Supper Club. About 6:15 in Matucci's, you can't go wrong. Yasenchak boots it off down to Blazowski again, down around the 10-yard line where he takes it. Moves it up over the 20, heads to the sideline. And number 37, Kirpich, is going to push him out of bounds right at the 35-yard line of the Panthers, where they'll take over 1st and 10.
Vinci has improved his kickoff. Last week we had seen they were a little bit shorter. They were down around the 20-yard line. And then Matt came in, and he was kicking off and doing a good job. Tonight I see Vinci's down at the 10. That one was all the way down to the 6-yard line. So he's doing a very good job tonight.
Canzoneri brings him up. He's got Blazowski directly behind him here in the offense. And he's going to give it to Blazowski right at the middle, and Blazowski will gain nothing. It'll bring up a 2nd down and 10 from the 35 still.
They're trying to get a little bit of motion going in the linebacking crew there. They faked the pitch to number 24, and it was just a straight dive up the middle, hoping to get the linebacker to move, create a hole, a natural hole that he could run through.
Brown didn't see that because he just went right up the middle and smacked Blazowski down, so they didn't influence him at all. Canzoneri's going to drop back to pass. He's got a lot of time this time, and he's throwing it to number 24, 24 Kohler, and he just simply let it get through his hands that time as he was turning his head to see how much room he had upfield. So it brings up a 3rd down and 10 from the 35-yard line for the Panthers.
Yeah, Matsura and Lentini were definitely in the area. If he would have caught that ball, he probably would have picked up maybe 5 yards on that, but I think he was sort of hearing footsteps because before he even caught the ball, he was already turning his head to look downfield.
So an obvious pass play now for Canzoneri. And he fakes it in that, but he's in trouble almost in the beginning because there's Matsura, who never went for either fake as we had a fake in the two fakes in the backfield. Matsura just said, I don't believe either one of them. Brings Canzoneri down at about the 27-yard line for a 7-yard loss. It'll bring up 4th down and almost 18 now for the first down, and the Panthers are going to be forced to punt again, and once again, Blazowski will get in punt formation.
Yeah, I think Steve was in a blitz mode there. There had to be a stun in the center because he just got in untouched.
Time we almost blocked it.
Cuff was in there.
Cuff got in there. Clear right along the sidelines, and he sprints up the sidelines, and he's going to bring it up right almost to midfield at the Mount Carmel area 49-yard line. And again, great field position for the Red Tornadoes as Clea makes a little bit out of nothing that time and takes it up the sideline.
Him and John Veach are doing an excellent job back there. If you remember, the same thing happened. Clea took it down the opposite side when we had the wall set up over on this side, and he picked up 15. John Veach did the same thing. He picked up 15 yards. So we're not letting the ball hit the ground, which is a great thing. You don't let it hit the ground and roll behind you. You take it and pick up as much yardage straight ahead as you possibly can.
Panthers are going to be called for offside. He stepped just a little too far into that neutral zone that time. It'll be a 5-yard penalty. Bring up 1st and 5 from the 46 of the Panthers now for Big Red. And when things kind of go wrong, they go all wrong at the same time. The Panthers are kind of snake-bitten right now. Big Red having its way with them here in the second period at the 10:24 mark.
Now that time their defense was set up into a 4-4. They actually brought their corners in a little bit and right behind. Now they're back in their 4-3.
It's time Veach, and he pops right up the middle. He makes the turn, makes the cut again. Still on his feet. He's down inside the 30, down to about the 26-yard line of the Panthers, where again it is 1st and 10 Mount Carmel area, and Veach is just unstoppable. There's no other way to put it.
Well, you can see how unstoppable he is. He drugged number 12 for 4 yards as he was hanging onto his jersey.
So the Panthers once again in a little bit of trouble. Oh, and that's going to be an offside on Big Red. It'll back him up 5 yards back to the 31-yard line, and it'll bring up 1st and 15 as we get a little anxious there. Getting back to Supper Club, I cannot say enough about it, and I can't say enough about Coach Brennan. He truly is a breath of fresh air when he hit the place. He just answers every question, talks to everybody as he moves around the room, and it really seems like he's enjoying himself, and that's what you can only hope for. And he's kind of infuses everybody else with that enthusiasm. Shinsky looks back, he catches number 21, Matsura, and Matsura is down inside the 15 to about the 13-yard line of the Panthers, where it will be 1st and 10, and Mount Carmel continues to just churn up yardage here on both the ground and in the air.
Some great pass protection for Dave. Dave steps into the pocket, and he watched Matsura all the way, and there was two patterns coming into the center, and he led them perfect.
This time Veach breaks loose at the line of scrimmage, cuts up the middle, and Veach will go into the end zone for his second touchdown of the evening, and it is now Mount Carmel area 20 and the Panthers 0, with Medalis trotting out. So Coach Lush's probably his worst nightmare is just about to happen here. He was trying to close those floodgates before halftime, and it does not look like that's now going to happen. Medalis, we'll see how high he gets these. He's now had 2 of the highest kickoff attempts in recent memory, and there's another one, and he could boot it, but that one he misses. As it just, and again, I say it just skirted over the thing, but I just don't understand that. I don't know how they can look so good and it can be bad when they get to the other side there, but it is, and it will leave the score at Mount Carmel area 20, Panther Valley 0, with 9:12 remaining here in the first half of play.
At Supper Club, you get down there, you talk to the coach, and like you said, he does. He gets up and he goes around and talks to everybody at the end of Supper Club. He makes sure he's there. He just shakes hands, everything else. But we had 4 boys last night. Number 2, Josh Clear. Number 40, Ziegler. 26, Lentini. And number 85, Dillo. And, it's just great to see those kids get up and, they say a few words. They, maybe talk about the game coming up. They thank everybody, really great kids.
Now, that's what it's all about. It's about meeting these kids and getting to see them on a little more personal level than you might just standing in or sitting here in the stadium. And when you get to meet them, you're going to find some really compelling kids come down to this thing and start talking to you. So if it's what it's all about is football here and sports for you in Mount Carmel area, that's where you want to be. Yasenchak will tee it up and boot it, and again right. No, this time actually we got a new guy carrying the ball. Blazowski let it go, and he's coming right up the middle, and that's number 21 for the Panthers, Justin Jakowitz.
He wanted to make a statement that time, and I'll tell you what, if he wasn't tripped up there going through, he had a couple more yards to pick up there.
He brings it out to the 36-yard line where the Panthers will take over 1st and 10. But it was almost like, I'm going to take this no matter what. Blazowski just let me have this thing, and he went up high and he got it. So Jakowitz is a sophomore, 5'7", 130-pound little speed demon there, brings the ball up the field for the Panthers. Canzaneri hands to Blazowski, and Blazowski's going to pick up some big yardage this time as they had some pretty good blocking and seal that line off. Matsura eventually brings him down, but the biggest gain of the evening for the Panthers is Blazowski gets around the left end of the Tornado defense and picks up big yardage.
We have our first substitution here. I guess we're resting Johnny. I don't see him down on the sidelines or not, but number 1, Matt Medalis is in as the free safety now.
So 1st and 10 for the Panthers over the midfield stripe at the Mount Carmel area 48-yard line. Ooh, that was hurtful there. Chad Brown and Yasenchak.
Oh, Yasenchak hit him low. That's what, coming in from your linebacker position, a full, halfback running full tilt, and now all of a sudden you got a big open hole and a clear shot at him. I could see probably Vincent was watering at that time, out of the corner of his mouth.
That was no gain on the play. Werner carried the ball and probably wishes he didn't on that play as it brings up a 2nd and 10 now for the Panthers. This time a single back in the backfield and trips over here to the right for Canzaneri as he's going to throw in dangerous pass. He just got number 3. Davis bounced it off his inside shoulder there and almost went for an interception. He threw into some traffic there, but wasn't his fault. I think he threw a good pass. I think Davis just needed to handle it.
Well, Lentini, Matsura Steve had dropped back into the pass zone, and so did Lentini. And Lentini almost made the interception. He saw the ball coming, and just at the last minute, he got his hand out and probably distracted the receiver.
3rd and 10 now for the Panthers. Ball still sitting at the 48-yard line of Big Red as Canzaneri drops back to pass now, and he's looking over in the sideline, and that time it was just too high. He was aiming once again for Davis down there, but just got it up too far in the air, and it'll bring up 4th and 10, and once again the Panthers are going to be forced to punt the ball, and if they gain anything finally this time, they're going to gain a little field position on this punt at the 7:48 mark here in the 2nd period of play.
I'll tell you what, the defensive ends, Nick Cuff is just putting so much pressure on the quarterback at this point that he just threw the ball up, I swear, in self-defense.
Once again, Cuff nearly blocks that thing. He does force Blazowski to kick it short, and he gets it down to the 26-yard line where it bounced out of bounds, but Cuff put a lot of pressure, and I think that changed the way he ended up kicking the ball that time and got a poor kickoff. So not as bad a field position change as Mount Carmel area could have had on the short kick by Blazowski.
Well, Cuff Nick did it last time. In fact, he went through 3 people and still got his hand up and gave the punter a little bit, gave him something to think about.
Timeout, and Panther Valley actually called the timeout. I'm guessing he looked at the defense and panicked a little bit, figuring that they weren't able to defend what we were going to bring to them. And so Coach Lush calls the timeout. That's his 2nd of the evening. They have 1 remaining here in the first half.
We, you go back we talked about the history of this game here between these 2 schools. Actually, it started out back in 1901 we played Lansford. We played Lansford.
Were you at that game?
No, I
You were
was
just
at
a kid, weren't
I
you?
was at the next one.
Oh, you were too young to come to that
yeah,
game. Okay.
The next one was the 1920 Lansford. And then I guess one of the schools that, because this is Phil, so this is gospel truth here, with Phil.
You don't want to question him, do you?
No way.
All right.
Summit Hill we had played. So apparently they were merged also into the Panther Valley School District. That was 1922. And then 42 to 45, we picked up Coaldale. And then with Panther Valley, this series started in 1968. And we go back down through since 1901, and all the teams we played.
Beach on the handoff, and he's still churning some yardage up there. He's going to cross over, but he's going to pick up only about a yard, 2 at the most. It'll bring up a second down and 9.
Yeah, even when we go back there and we take a look at this history, this long history, even the feeder schools in the Panther Valley did not win a game against Mount Carmel. And since 1968 up to the present date, Panther Valley has only won 4 games.
Doesn't seem like that.
I
They
know.
seem a lot more competitive than that. Flag down early as Clea is wide open there. And he fought with it that time as it got to him. But there's a flag in the backfield. Would not have made a difference what he did. It's going to go against Big Red, and it will come back. And there you have it. There's a motion penalty, illegal shift, it looks like.
Yeah.
And that'll tack on 5 yards. It'll bring up a second down and 14 for Big Red, as they've been remarkably penalty-free over the first 2 games.
Yeah, we've been very disciplined. I
think we can say discipline and Brennan in the same breath.
Well, I think so. You look up discipline, you see Brennan's picture in there, with the snarl on his face.
Oh yeah.
But we've heard that about Coach Brennan, and you can see now it is filtered into this team.
Yeah. So Shinsky will bring him up. He's got him wide right and wide left. He fakes it to Veach, who carries at least 3 guys with him, and now he's in trouble. And that play took a little too long to get rolling there. He had no blockers on that side as the flow was going the other way. And I believe he was trying to get a screen pass set up, but it just didn't materialize. Everybody followed Veach along the end, and it's the first loss from the line of scrimmage here for Big Red. It brings up a 4th down and 20. So we will see the kick, first punt of the evening here for Red Tornadoes, I believe, correct? And Shinsky will be kicking. And he gets off a beauty up to midfield,
and fumbled,
where it was fumbled. I believe the Panthers recovered it right at midfield, but it went right through the arms of Blazowski, I'm guessing. I'll see who gets up off that pile. I couldn't see who the number was. No, I'm sorry, it's not Blazowski. It's Trevor Kryzak, the junior wide receiver. So what could have been a nice field position turns out to be kind of so-so at midfield, where they actually left with the ball the last time. So they're not gaining much that way. And we have 6:23 remaining here in the second period of play. So if they're going to make their mark here in the first half of this football game, now is the time.
And they're running trips.
Oh, he's in trouble. He's in big trouble.
Ooh.
And 69 finally showed him how much trouble he was in. As he goes down at the 45-yard line, it'll be a loss of 5 and a second down and 15 now facing.
I don't know how Matt Booker did not knock the ball out of his hands.
Yeah.
He swatted at that ball at least 3 times.
So big pressure that time on Canzaneri. And he has not had a lot of time to throw. When he does, he's pretty good, but he has not had much this evening at least.
And the funny part about that was trips left, and he was looking for a very quick release. That was only going out to the slot man, and he was going to try to run with the ball.
Straight drop back, and now he begins to roll. It's a shovel pass to Blazowski. A nice play, but Clea's got a beat on him.
Oh, still going.
He got past Clea a little bit, went all the way down to the Mount Carmel area 38-yard line, where it's going to be a first down. We're very close to the first. Now let me see where they set it down first.
Well, he's about a foot away.
Let's see. Let me see where they put it, because I thought they were putting it down a lot further down. Oh, yeah, he's either going to have it or be very close to it, as they're going to have to bear it. It's the first down.
Yeah.
I thought he was close there.
Oh, what they did was they moved the chains before the referees even got over there to see what was going on. So they had to bring the chains back and put it back on the line. I guess they had it marked at the 45-yard line.
Well, 1st and 10 for the Panthers down at the Mount Carmel area 39-yard line as Canzoneri drops back to pass. A lot of time. And he fires it down. And Medalis just barely missed an interception as he breaks the pass up as Canzoneri was going for the whole 9 yards that time, Wayne. And Blazowski picks up some nice yardage. He's going to put it down to the Mount Carmel area 34-yard line. So it'll bring up a 2nd down and 5, a 5-yard pickup for Blazowski. And the Panthers have put a little bit of a threat together here in the 5-minute range of the second quarter.
Well, their success, even in the early part of the first quarter, their success came to the outside. It was nothing to the inside. It seems like on the outside they get a little bit more of a blocking scheme going. It's just the center of that line with Brown in there, Booker, and Swank just blocking everything up.
Hands off to Blazowski again, this time over the right side. Blazowski takes it down to the 29-yard line, where it should be good enough for the first down. They're going to look at where the placement was, and it's not. The placement's a little further back, so it's going to bring up 4th down now. 4th down and little less than a yard for the first down. The ball's just inside the 30-yard line of Big Red.
Oh, this is a good test for the defense to see, how strong they're going to be a little bit later on, especially next week.
Here's Blazowski and Kohler, and he didn't get it. He did not get it, ladies and gentlemen.
Beautiful play by Matt Booker.
Booker hit him in the backfield. Blazowski tried to reach his hand out, but depending where they placed that and where they placed it, I do not believe he's got it. He did not get it.
It seemed like they even stretched it a little bit. They tried to give it to him. Booker had him back behind the line. He just barely made it over the 30-yard line.
They're going to measure it because actually I thought the ball's a little further up than where he was. I saw him reach, but
they got a good spot on that.
No, he's not even close. So they turn the ball over on a 4th and less than 1. Matt Booker storms through the offensive line, hits Blazowski in the backfield, and ends the Panther threat here. So Mount Carmel will take over 1st and 10 from their own 29-yard line. That's going to be discouraging when that happens.
Well, like I said, it's a good test. This defense needs to be tested a little bit now. They're coming into the meat of their schedule.
Veach, right up the middle, breaks free, stops dead as usual. I don't know how he does that. Up over midfield, inside the Panther Valley 45-yard line, where he'll be down at the 44 of Panther Valley. And now flags have flown, and I don't know what that was, because I saw the Panther Valley coaches, one threw his hat, one threw his clipboard, and I don't know what else we threw down there, but now there's a discussion. The flag flew well after the play had ended, and I'm getting the feeling it's going against the Panthers here, Wayne.
Yeah. Well, I have a hard time seeing right where Johnny ended up. It was a great run all the way. He was tackled out of bounds. I can't say if something happened over there or not.
Yeah, I couldn't see it. The coaching staff from the Panthers reacted immediately, though, but I couldn't tell what it was they're reacting to. They were there hats, there were clipboards and stuff being thrown around there, and that's when the flag went up. So I'm wondering what they're going to discuss here. Whatever it is, it's taking a long time. We have pushing, illegal use of the hands against the Panthers, and that's an odd call there at that juncture of the play. But that's what it's going to be. The coaching staff over in the black and gold area are not a happy campers right now, and they are expressing their concern with the refereeing crew, but it's still going to stand. It's going to go against the Panthers, and the illegal use of hands will push the ball down. And unsportsmanlike conduct, unfortunately, that's being tacked on top of it, Wayne.
Oh.
And that flag came when I thought it did, when they
Yeah.
were yelling over there. They threw a flag in the air right after the play ended. It was an unsportsmanlike penalty, and this is a gigantic penalty. It sets the ball down all the way down to the Panther Valley 19, where it'll be 1st and 10, and that was a serious error on the Panther side of the ball to do what they did.
The coaching staff over there, I guess they had a few things to say.
This time Ziegler, and he pops it over the 15 down to the 14, almost the 13-yard line, where it should bring up about a 2nd down and 5 for Big Red.
Well, the offensive line is really, exploding off the ball at this point and just moving people out of the way. Now the Panthers jump into a 5. No.
I don't know what they jumped in there, to tell you the truth. But he's got the big guy, Yasenchak, wide open. The tight end, Yasenchak, dragged right down the middle there, stopped himself right at the goal line, took the pass, and then for a moment looked around and said, I hope somebody tries to hit me, but nobody did, and he unfortunately had to dance into the end zone unscathed. But at this juncture, it brings the score to Mount Carmel area 26, the Panthers nothing, and Medallas will tee it up for the extra point. A couple times, Wayne, we've seen that play now, and it's successful each time we do.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, there's that play there. A lot had to do with Dave Shinsky. He made a beautiful fake. Faked the handoff, turned his back to the line of scrimmage, had the ball. The defensive end sort of released and went after the fake. And Dave had a lot of time turning around, and there was old Vince standing down there. I mean, there was just nobody there.
The extra point attempt was no good, so the score remains Mount Carmel area 26, Panther Valley Panthers 0, with 3 minutes and 11 seconds remaining here in the first half of play. That was an ugly series of events for the Panthers here. They could ill afford to do what happened at this part of the ball game and really set themselves in a deeper hole than they needed to be.
No, at that point, offensively, they were starting to move the ball a little bit down the field, running to the outside. They got out of the center, away from the center. They moved the ball down. They had a nice shovel pass play there that picked up the first down about 12 yards. So defensively, they have shot themselves in the foot.
So the big guy, Yasenchak, will tee it up. Blazowski is the deep man in the formation. This one's going over to the side a little bit where it's bobbled around. And it's going to, 21 Matsura. And he just whacks the carrier out of bounds. The ball carrier was 17, Maurer, the junior.
And 42, Jared Pilarski was in on that too.
So the ball sitting down at the Panther Valley 33-yard line where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Panthers. And they got about 3 minutes left here to make some kind of mark before halftime. And I'm afraid if they don't, this game's gonna turn even uglier for them as it progresses. Oh my goodness. Blazowski, and he is just whacked in the backfield. You got Cuff and Brown.
Brown made the initial hit. That it just seems like Brown is now taking over that interior line position. He is definitely, between him, Booker and Swank are playing in the backfield, I think, more than Panther Valley's running backs are. And they're just playing havoc back there.
Handoff inside to Blazowski, and he's going to be brought down by Swank and Cuff. Short yardage pickup. Going to bring up 3rd down, about 10. Got back to the original line of scrimmage there.
We had a pinch on in the center of the line there, and it gave Vince Yasenchak clear shot. He was in the blitzing mode on the right-hand side. Unfortunately, Blazowski had gotten underneath Vincey a little bit to get back to the line of scrimmage.
So a big 3rd down play again for the Panthers, in Kansas area. I'm sure will go back into passing formation. He does. He's under immediate pressure from Ziegler, and now Swank. And look at the speed on Swank. And he finally lets the ball go. It's incomplete, but Swank and Ziegler were really doing a job there trying to get the Canzoneri, and Swank can really put some speed on there when he gets cranking, doesn't he? So
yeah, Swank was really moving. I'll tell you, the other kid was Ziegler. Ziegler just blew straight in there. The blocking back that was supposed to be protecting Canzoneri. All he did was just threw an elbow at Ziegler, and Ziegler just blew right by him.
So 4th down once again, and the Panthers will kick, and it goes right through.
Watch Cuffy.
Right through Blazowski.
Lunch.
Oh, my goodness. And Cuff is just all over the place. And Blazowski recovers the ball, but ends up at his own 8-yard line, where it'll be 1st and goal for the Red Tornadoes. And the Panthers have had as many things go wrong right now as you possibly could want in a football game.
You feel bad for him. I think, to tell you the truth, Warren, that play there was because of Cuff putting so much pressure on him the last 3 times he tried to punt the ball.
I think he took his eye off for a second to look where Cuff was, and it went right through his legs. And now we drop the ball, and we're going to lose some big-time yardage back to about the 15-yard line, where it should bring up a 2nd down and probably 15 for the touchdown. So 2nd and goal from the 15, as we had trouble taking the center pass, and the ball bounced around in the backfield a little bit. Shinsky finally covered, but not before he lost some big yardage.
Yeah, Matsura comes out, and Johnny Kerpridge goes out into a wide receiver position on the right-hand side.
Shinsky goes back to pass, and he's looking around. He's got Clea, and call it incomplete. I didn't see what happened in the corner down there, but apparently Clea did not hold on to it. Nice pass that time by Shinsky, as he got Clea right where he needed to get him in the corner of the end zone. But it falls incomplete. It brings up a 3rd down and about 15 now, and it's 3rd and goal.
Great pass by Dave. It was nice and low, down on close to the turf. Cannot be intercepted at all, cannot be blocked.
This time we hand it off to Veach, and Veach is cutting up the middle, still dancing around. Penalty flag flies into the fray there.
That came all the way from the back, Judge.
Yes, it did. It came a long way to get into the crowd there. So he saw something, and it's my guess it's going to go against Big Red. It is. So they've had a heck of a time here as they got the ball on the 9-yard line and have proceeded to march backwards ever since. It's going to bring up a 3rd down. I'm trying to guess. 3rd down and 20 for the touchdown. So 3rd and goal from the 20.
You want everybody in the end zone at this point.
Pretty much. Shinsky drops back, plenty of time, plenty of protection. He fires down, and he sees Clea once again. And this time he was well covered down there. Number 8 and number 3, both of them, 3 Davis, 8 Krizak, and they had Clea pretty well covered on the long pass play. And Coach Brennan now walks out and calls a timeout as he wants to talk to Big Red and see what this 4th down and 20 for the touchdown play will be. And Mount Carmel area just not looking real sharp here on this one series of downs. And Coach, of course, Coach Brennan talked a little bit about that last night. He was impressed with the game last week. You know, under the conditions that it was played, he could not complain, and certainly didn't. But did mention that he was a little concerned with that lack of focus that we had in the second half, allowing them to score 20-some points, and that kind of had him nervous, saying that even in that situation we should not have let them score those kind of points. So he's the kind of guy that focuses for the entire football game from kickoff till, as you say, the gunshot at the end. So.
And you know, he expects everybody else.
Yes, he does. So,
everybody else to do exactly the same.
So definitely a perfectionist in that type of thing. There are 26 seconds left here in the first half of play. Time for one more play from Mount Carmel area to either put it in the end zone or they will give probably the Panthers one more play. And then we'll go into the half. So we'll see what Coach Brennan had in his magical bag of tricks here. Shinsky goes back, plenty of time, fires down the middle, and just out of the hands of Matsura. The Mount Carmel area sideline is calling for an interference call, and I would say that it was very, 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 very close. So 20 seconds on the clock. Panthers will take over 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line, and Coach Brennan is having his say here on that particular play also. That was very, very tight coverage there, and I think maybe that might have kind of dented into the interference zone, but as it is, it was not called, so we'll watch the Panthers snap the ball from their own 20-yard line with 20 seconds left. And they're going to take a knee. Canzaneri kneels down. The Panthers are conceding the first half of play here, and so with the end of the first half and Mount Carmel area out to a 26-0 lead, we will be right back with all of the first half stats, so stay tuned. Okay, gang, welcome back here. We'll get the second half started momentarily. Of course, the first half, all Mount Carmel area as they have bulged out to a 26-0 lead over the Panthers, and we'll have Wayne, who went down and consorted with Jose on the bench, give us the first half stats.
Okay, you thought last week against Wyomissing was impressive. I'll tell you what, this this first half was just outstanding. They're both offensively and defensively when you take a look at these stats. In the rushing department, the Tornadoes had the ball 20 times for 147 yards. Veach, last week he carried the ball. He had 15 carries in the first half, I think, for 125 yards. Tonight, so far, he has 14 carries for 151 yards. Ziegler, 4 for 14, and Shinsky, 2 for minus 16 yards. In the passing department, we were 4 of 11 for 54 yards. Vinci Senchak, 1 for 13 with the touchdown. Kalia, 1 for 14, and Matsura, 2 for 27. The Tornadoes have 11 first downs in the first half. Now, defensively, they're just eating up this Panther Valley team. In the rushing department, Panther Valley carried the ball 21 times for a minus 5 yards. Passing 2 of 10 for 32 yards and only 3 first downs. So it shows you exactly the type of play that these kids have come in on Coach Brennan's first home game here at the Silver Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, this is really indicative of the domination in the first half. And, of course, the Panthers had a couple things going wrong there, and it slowly got worse, it looked like, as the half wore on. So hopefully they got themselves together at halftime, and they've got some skill athletes. We talked about at the beginning of the game, Canzaneri, Blazowski. There's some quality athletes on that side of the football. The problem is they just haven't been able to get any consistency. No. They had poor field position probably throughout the first half, except for probably one time, and they ended up squandering that and turning the ball over on downs down at the 19-yard line. So been a tough half for the Panthers, and of course, not much offense last week. We weren't sure whether we could attribute that to the fact that they played in such horrendous conditions in a rainstorm that was nearly blinding until they finally stopped the game in the mid-third quarter. So maybe not. Maybe the offense just having a tough time gelling under a new coach and a little bit of a new system. But hopefully here in the second half, they got their helmets on tighter and their game faces on, and they're going to give us a football game. Unfortunately, they kick off to us. So our offense, which has been nothing short of prolific here in the first half, will get the ball once again right away, Wayne.
Well, the offensive line, what can you say? You take a look at John Veach again at 151 yards on 14 carries, and every time he's carried the ball, there's a hole there large enough for him to go through, and he's 5 yards downfield.
Clea picks it up and comes right up the middle. Clea cuts over the 40-yard line up to the 43-yard line of the Red Tornadoes. A fine return by Josh Clea, where the Mount Carmel Red Tornadoes will start the second half. 1st and 10 from the 43.
Okay, setting up the offense again in the center, doing an outstanding job again tonight. This whole center core of the line, Randy Swank, 54, Nick Cuff, 69, Matt Booker 50, Dave Shoppy 55, and Bierster 59.
Handoff goes to Veach. He goes over the right side of the line. Box up over the 45-yard line to about the 47-yard line. It'll bring up a 2nd down and 5 for Big Red. And, of course, Veach running wild here in the first half and probably here in the second half as he's off to a quick 5-yard gain here. And that puts his total up over 155 yards on the game so far as Kirpich goes in motion now. And Shinsky will pass. He looks over at Clea once again. That one a little too tall for Clea as he tried to get to. He was covered by Trevor Kresak, number 8 on the play. Going to bring up a 3rd down and 5 now for the Red Tornadoes.
You know, Dave getting a lot of time back there, and we had talked about that before. You know, we got Yasenchak watching the backside for Dave there, number 6, the tight end. But that interior line, both punting on specialty teams and pass protection, is just doing an outstanding job.
Shinsky back to pass again. This time he sees Matsura at 21. Matsura is going to take it all the way down to the 36-yard line. 36-yard line of the Panther Valley Panthers. Nice play by Matsura that time. Nice catch, but then he made a nice run at the end of it.
Yeah. Great rollout. You know, we haven't seen too much of Dave rolling out last year. He's more of a pocket type guy. This time he's thrown on the move, which is not that easy for a sophomore to do.
This time Ziegler, and Ziegler carries 4 or 5 Panthers down, all the way down to about the 27-yard line of the Panthers.
It's just that, you know, we come in with Ziegler here now. We hit, we go to Calais out this side, Matsura, you know, Veach to the other side. It's just that it's difficult to defense everything that's going to come at you from the Red Tornadoes this year.
2nd and 3 now, and a pitch back to Veach. Veach comes left. He makes the turn, and number 8 put him out of bounds. Kresak once again, and Kresak saved the touchdown that time as Veach had a head of steam as he turned the corner. But the ball will be set down at the Panther Valley 18-yard line where it's 1st and 10 Mount Carmel area, and once again they are on the move, and the Panthers seem right now unable to stop them.
Yeah, they're on the move, and what do? They bring in Dave Brown, number 31, blocking back alongside of the other brick wall there, number 40, Aaron Ziegler.
This time we go to Veach, and he breaks through the line on a nice play. Clea, and Clea did his best he could there. There was not much else he could do. He had his guy stood up, but John had nowhere to cut as he got close. And in John's view of that was, then I'll try to bash the 3 of us into the end zone if I can. And he gets down to the 2, where it's now 1st and goal from the 2 for the Red Tornadoes. So they are having their way. The offensive line is absolutely pounding the Panther Valley defensive line and linebackers right now. Veach again, right up the middle. He's still churning. There's second effort, and there's a touchdown. Stopped dead at the line of scrimmage. He kept turning and turning, but his legs never stopped moving. So John Veach goes in for a 2-yard score at the 9:51 mark of the 3rd quarter. Mount Carmel area now out to a 32-0 lead, and Medalis will come in. Yasenchak will come in for the extra point attempt, and we'll see what he can do. I'm still wondering how Medalis didn't get the last one. I'm still worried about that, but Yasenchak pops it up, and to me it looked good, but it is. Actually, they're going to call that one good. So at 9:51, it is Mount Carmel area 33 and the Panthers 0, and Mount Carmel will get ready to tee it up and kick off to the Panthers, who dearly need to get some type of offense moving right now, or this is truly going to get ugly before it gets better.
Well, you know, it is so hard. They've tried all night long to run up the center of the Mount Carmel's defense. And again, when you have Brown in there, Randy Swank and Matt Booker in the center of that defensive line, That's hard to do. They had more success when they get some more blockers out and they get a little bit of room in front of Blazinski and get him out to the outside and try to run a little bit off tackle or maybe to around the end. But definitely they haven't done anything up the center.
No. I mean, I guess if there's a giant difference here, it's in speed. The Panthers did not show a lot of speed. Even Blazowski, probably not the quickest guy, although one tough runner. But just no breakaway threats here right now. Canzoneri had made a couple of nice passes, which they dropped, and he's been off the mark a few times, so inconsistent in the passing game, too. This time we kick it down, and it's going to go right out of bounds. And it looked like a big guy now. That's 62 down there, was it not?
82.
Or 82, I'm sorry, 82. That's Dustin Cranch. And Cranch is a junior tight end, defensive end. He picked the ball up and stepped almost immediately out of bounds at the Panther Valley 32-yard line, where it's 1st and 10 for the Panthers. And this is almost kind of a make-or-break deal now. They've got to put something together and get something on the scoreboard, if nothing else, for their own self-esteem. I mean, I don't know if even they think they can win the game, but certainly they need to start generating some offense to get going. It's only the second game of the year. This time we give it to Blazowski, and he's coming around the end. Dillo has a bead on him, and Dillo and Matsura team up to bring him down. Dillo gave him a nice whack as he got around the end.
Yeah, Matt Steve was in there right away. He came in from his linebacker position and put some pressure on him as he was trying to get around the end. That gave Dillo enough time to come up and make the stop.
Blazowski will pick up 3 yards on the play. He'll bring up a 2nd down and 7 for the Panthers. Medalis in the Mount Carmel defensive backfield now in place of Veach. Canzoneri, he hands up in a draw play. He hands it right to Blazowski, who goes absolutely nowhere. In fact, Blazowski will lose about 2 yards in the play. It'll bring up 3rd down and 9 now, as they've gone to the well with that one, maybe one time too many, as Mount Carmel area now seeing that play clearly and stopping it dead in its tracks.
If number 56 came in, Eric Beaver comes in for Jasenchak in the linebacker position. So coach is now starting to get some fresh legs in, get some experience going here.
Canzoneri drops back Ziegler, and he dropped the ball.
Yeah.
The ball is live, but I believe Canzoneri bent over and got it, but Ziegler and Swank. But Ziegler really crunching him and knocking the ball out. So Canzoneri drops the ball. He drops it at the Panther Valley 26-yard line. It'll bring up 4th down and about 15 or 16 for the 1st down. And once again, Blazowski finds himself in punt formation. And his last time he found himself there was disastrous. So hopefully this one goes a little better for him. Good snap this time, and he gets it off under pressure. But he kicks it, and it will fly out of bounds just about the 45-yard line. It looks like a Mount Carmel area, as Coach Chicatano pointed it out to him to make sure he got it the right spot there. Did you see that? He was just helping out there, letting him know that it did go out about the 45. Actually, they'll place it at the 44-yard line of Mount Carmel area, where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Red Tornadoes. And again, fabulous field position for the Red Tornadoes. So just a tough night all around, field position-wise, for the Panthers.
I see another new number went in there, and I don't have it on my roster.
Who?
51.
Hand off to Veach. Veach cuts over the left side of the Mount Carmel offensive line, crosses over midfield to about the 49-yard line. He's brought down there by number 68 from the Panthers, and that is Josh Leinhardt.
I got it. We were told at the beginning of the season that
that's Brown wearing that.
That's Brown
right?
wearing it. He's back. He's running in the line now. They're going to give him some offensive experience, especially when you get down in the meat of this schedule that we have coming up.
So Brown changes his number actually from 31 to 51 when he comes in on the line. Veach again, and Veach is breaking through this time, and Veach will go all the way down the sideline. Brought down, but he crosses the goal line in a fabulous, fabulous run by John Veach once again, number 8 making the final attempt to bring him down, Krisak, but Veach was just too much for him. And Mount Carmel area once again, just like that, lightning strikes. And Mount Carmel area now bulges out to a 30, what is it, 39, right? We didn't move the scoreboard.
I don't think we did either.
Should be 39-0 with the extra point attempt to follow. There it is, 39-zip. And once again, Yasenchak will attempt the extra point, but we seem to be missing somebody in there. And Yasenchak saying, do we mind going out there and filling that hole or what? So Mount Carmel area now forced to call a timeout, and not only that, but number 21, Matsura, has to walk out with Coach Brennan, and that's got to be one of the longest walks he's going to take of the year. So I'm sure he's hoping he gets to the huddle soon.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's one thing that we haven't seen in John Veach yet this year. We were told how much stronger that John had gotten from last year, and of course, you know, the way he has been running people over, juking, taking hits, and still picking up that 4 or 5 extra yards. But this time he takes the hit and he turns on the afterburners and just ran by the whole Panther Valley defense right down along the sideline. So, you know, there's a kid there that you expect one thing from him. Now all of a sudden he turns it up a little bit, and you know he shows you exactly how fast he can be with the uniform on.
Now that's going to, I mean, I don't know the official statistics, but that will push him over the 200-yard mark, folks, tonight in offense right now on the ground. So another extremely impressive performance by the tailback, John Veach. And now everybody's where they need to be, and the big man is going to kick this thing up again, and he looks like he kicks it straight through the middle where it is good. And now with the score 40-0 at the 6:56 mark of the third period. And Mount Carmel area, I am sure, we'll start seeing every number in the book, so we will begin gearing up for the announcing of those numbers as they come in and out of the football game. The Panthers, a tough night. It's only in the third quarter. They do not show any possibility of winning this football game right now.
No.
But I'm sure if you're Coach Lush, you've got to be over there saying to yourself, I need to get something. I need to show them something. They need to know that they can do something. You know, so they got to put something together offensively to build for next week and for the rest of their season. Remember, this was a district playoff team last year.
That's right.
They were no slouches last year.
And they come back with their 2 skilled positions.
But unfortunately, they're going to open up here 0-2, and that is not the way I'm sure they hope to do so. So they need to do a little soul searching on their side of the ball right now as Mount Carmel area prepares to kick off to them and kind of get that chin strap on a little tighter and see what they can or can't do out there. And that would be the time for me, if I'm Coach Lush, is open up that passing game, let Canzoneri air it out and get some practice at it, if nothing else. Panthers are in serious trouble down there as the ball will be downed inside the 20-yard line. Veach, 30 carries for 226 yards on the night, ladies and gentlemen. An astronomical number once again.
Yeah.
We had Veach at 246
last
week before he left the football game, so he is continuing to just smash yardage out in an absolutely impressive performance here in the first 2 games of the season.
And he was only 4 yards away from the school record for the game, held by Brett, if you remember, up in Marion Field a number of years ago.
I remember it well.
He was unstoppable that day.
Hands off to Blazowski. Blazowski picks up short yardage on the play. About 2 yards will bring up a 2nd and 8 for the Panthers. Ball sitting down around the 21-yard line now of the Panthers. Truly just amazing performance by Veach.
45, Mike Lashinsky in there. And in fact, I think Mike's calling the signals from the sideline. He's in a linebacking position. He goes in for Yasenchak.
So you got Beaver and Lashinsky as the linebackers right now. This time Canzoneri goes back under extreme pressure again, and this time he's going to be brought down by the whole 9 yards of him.
Jared Pilarski is in the right corner position.
Number 29, Damian Buggy, actually on the final stop of that play, but everybody got a shot at him on the line there before Buggy got a hold of him. But Canzoneri under extreme pressure that time from the defensive line. You got Brown and Swank still in there. in the middle there, causing absolute literal havoc, and you got Kupsel on the other end. So,
and Booker's
still in there too. So it brings the 3rd and 13 as Canzoneri goes back, and this time, nice play that time by Dillo. That was as perfectly played a defensive play as you can have. Nicely thrown pass. Pass was headed in Trevor Krizak's position, but Dillo made a fabulous defensive play and broke the ball up. It's 4th and 13, and once again Blazowski must go in the punt formation, and this time he's punting from inside his own 5-yard line. It's a good punt off, but it's gonna I'm sorry, it wasn't a good punt because I didn't realize how off the side of his foot is went, but they're doing. What is he doing? What is that signal when he does that?
He's lining the referee is on the sideline over there, and the head judge, he stands behind the punter and he watches the ball go out of bounds. And what he does is he lines up the referee to show him where the yard marker is supposed to be.
Okay, that's about as ugly a punt as you want to ever have. The ball's going to be set down at the Panther Valley 22-yard line. It's 1st and 10, and that punt was about 10 yards or so, Wayne, or less.
Yeah.
So that was an ugly punt for Blazowski that time. Beach with the carry. Cuts up. Crosses over the 20-yard line, and he's going to be set down about the 17-yard line. Pick up about 3 yards in the play. 4 yards. Should bring up a 2nd down and 6 for the Red Tornadoes. Ball on the 17.
Yeah, the whole first crew is in there. We have Dave Brown, number 31, back in there again.
Here comes Veach off the field and to a rousing ovation from the Mount Carmel area side, and he truly earned it as he had another outstanding performance, and we may have seen him for the last time tonight. Number 32 with the ball, Ben Hynoski. Hynoski pops it over the 15 near the 10-yard line. He's very close to the 1st down. We'll see where he marks it. And he sets it down, and he's about, oh goodness, he's about half a yard short. So it's
we got Booker comes out, number 58. Steve Polifka goes in that position.
So Shinsky now keeps it, and he got more room than he thought that time. He needed a half yard. He picked up about 4. They're going to set the ball down on the 11-yard line, so it's going to be 1st and 10 from the 11. Shinsky picks the 1st down up, and 21 Matsura replaces 37 Kirpich in the lineup.
What's nice here for Hynoski and Pilarski when they get in is that these kids are still running with the first-team line, and they see some good blocking.
There's Brown, and Brown just pounds himself. Hey, look at him. He's still churning down there.
Oh, God.
And he's down to the 2-yard line or so, it looks like. 1-yard line. So he may have picked up even the 1st down that time. Dave Brown just pounding his way down the field. And it's 2nd down, and it's got to be 2nd down in about a half a yard. It is very short yardage for the 1st down. Ball sitting, the scoreboard says the 1, but it has to be outside the 1 or it would have been a 1st down. So 2nd down and less than 1.
They put the yard markers down, so apparently it's goal. Here it's 1st and goal.
You think?
Yeah.
But he was on the 11. Touchdown. Dave Brown pounds it over, so it doesn't really matter what down it was as Dave Brown takes the ball into the end zone. And Mount Carmel now out to a 46-0 lead here at the 54-second mark of the 3rd period. And this time Dallas will go back in as we have not many often times in our history have we had the leisure of having 2 place kickers at the same time.
You're right.
So we got 2 guys that can kick extra points here. So now Dallas will come back in and give it a shot as we rolled it back. Shinsky picked it up, and he's going to carry it in. It's a 2-point conversion on a kind of rolled back center. Shinsky thought about it for a little bit and decided, there's no way we can kick this thing. So he takes off with it, rolls around the right side, and takes it in for the 2-point conversion.
It sort of looked like a Charlie Brown. I thought Medalis was going to go on that one.
So it's 48-0, and I know that Coach Brennan's saying to himself, please don't think I called a two-point conversion here. I did not do that on purpose, but nonetheless it was done. And there's 54 seconds still left here in the third period, and things have turned extremely ugly for the Panthers. There's not a good sign here for them right now as we prepare to kick off. A lot of new faces in the lineup. And even with the new faces in the lineup and new positions, we still overpowered them and went into the end zone.
Well, I'll tell you, you have to give your tip your hat off to Coach Brennan. I think he's given everybody on this team an opportunity to touch the ball tonight and to score. I mean, how many times have you seen 3, 4, 5 guys score, different people score in a game? You know, they're few and far between. And there's Dave. Dave carried the ball there and picked up 9 yards, got down to the 1. You know, who else are you going to give it to? You got to give it to Dave to get him down there and score.
Yasenchak kicks it off. Oh, Buggy, 29. Big hit to bring him down. He brings number 21 down, Justin Jakovich, for the Panthers. But a big hit by number 29 on the play. And the Panthers will be in business offensively, 1st and 10, with the ball sitting just about the 37-yard line of their own territory.
Yeah, well, Mike Lashinsky goes in to call the plays there for the defense. Jared Owens, number 61, is in there in the line. I think we had enough guys.
Yeah, well,
we're still, like a half a team short.
We're short a few guys, but we're going to have a penalty on the Panthers. Either they saw it and got excited by it, but they left early over on the left side of the offensive line. So
42, Jared Pilarski.
Goes against us, but I can't imagine how that happened because they were moving early. But it's a 5-yard penalty. It'll bring up 1st and 5 for the Panthers.
30, Mark Kovaleski in at the corner position.
The Panthers have a new quarterback in the game also, P.J. Urich. P.J. Urich is a junior quarterback, 6 foot, 140 pounds. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the third quarter with the score Mount Carmel area 48, Panther Valley 0. And so over on the other sideline, Coach Lush also making the right decision and putting a lot of new kids in on his side because he needs to, even in a losing effort today, still needs to build some confidence and get some kids playing. So that's a good move, I think, by the Panthers. And he fires it down, and Medalis just barely missed an interception as he breaks the pass up as Canzoneri was going for the whole 9 yards that time, Wayne. Okay, folks, we wait for the Panthers to come back out here. It's 1st and 5, their ball on their own 42-yard line. And they have an entire new team. In fact, I will have to say this for Coach Lush. He has put an entire new squad on the field. There's not an old jersey in the lineup there, so he's definitely aiming for the future a little bit now as this game has gotten completely out of hand for him. And another penalty, and this one you're going to have to help me with, Wayne. I have no idea what this was. I mean, they didn't even get set yet and we had a penalty. How could that be?
66 is in the line for us. Brandon Brown. 61.
Jared Owens.
Jared Owens. 63. Tom Bagashinsky.
This one's we're gonna get the 5 yards and give it back now. So brings it back and be 1st and 10 again. And we're having a heck of a time getting this offensive series off the ground as we've had 2 penalties before the snap of the ball.
32. Ben Hynoski. 48. Pete Kulik.
Ooh, he's hit immediately in there. I'll give you their numbers in a second as they get off. 29 is Buggy, and he's having himself a heck of a game, although he shook himself up a little bit there. In fact, he's taken himself out of the ball game. He made a good hit that time. That was a nice play by Buggy. I like the way he did that. 89 in the ball game is Dan Evans, taking his place there on the corner. and we try to pass it out there. We do, and number 30 for Mount Carmel area, Mark Kovaleski, says maybe you shouldn't have caught that one because he pancakes him there.
Immediately.
So a pickup of about a yard, and it was one of the hardest yards that young man's going to pick up in his high school career. So it brings up a 3rd down and 9.
Number 74, David Urbanovich.
So Urick will bring him up, and I'm almost positive we're going to look at a pass play here from the junior quarterback.
Number 3, John Dare, playing a cornerback position.
Timeout here because referee lost something out of his pocket. So we go quick timeout. He dropped something there. Time back in, and Urick sets him up. Urick drops back, but he's going to do a draw play and hand it off, and he's got number 24, Kohler, moving around, and he's tackled by Beaver. And number 35 for Big Red, and that's Robbie Shivelhood. So the
number 46, we got Howie Parrish.
The Panthers are forced to punt, and I'm believing they may be getting close to setting a record for punting here right now tonight. They've done a lot of that. Unfortunately, they had to bring in a lot of their regular members of their squad because you don't usually have a second punt team to do that. And Blazowski, unfortunately, had to come back in because he's probably the only punter right now. So he counts to make sure everybody's there and drops back in punt formation and gets a nice one off. And a fair catch, I believe, called there by number 48, and that was Pete Kulik. And sometimes you get in trouble with that one. I didn't see it real clear there that he did it. He had his hand up. Sometimes they'll talk to you and tell you got to be more clear with it. But Kulik fair catches the ball, in essence, at the 33-yard line of the Red Tornadoes where they'll take over. 1st and 10. We have 9 minutes and 3 seconds. And we have also remind you that we have employed the mercy rule here in the second half in high school where the clock continues to run almost continuously. It will only shut down for an injury now as time begins to tick away. There's no more having the clock stop when you're just fooling around there, or they don't blow the ball dead or anything like that. So the clock's gonna run fairly quickly here, and the Panthers' point of view, it probably won't be able to run quickly enough. And if you're in Mount Carmel, though, you got all those young guys down there. They're hoping there's still about 20 minutes left to play. So,
well, you see, Coach called them all over, and he took 3 other players out there with them, and he's setting them up for their offensive stance here.
So Coach Brennan's got to be really pleased with the way tonight went. Again, one of the differences we thought we'd see tonight is the Panthers. We weren't sure what we would see considering their game last week, but we knew they'd come in and be hard hitters because that's what they do. Excuse me, you don't come out of the Panther Valley, the Lansford, Nescahoning, Summit Hill region and not be tough. I mean, that's just not going to happen. They're good players. There's some nice talent up there. I think, as I said in the beginning, one of the things that has hurt them has been the continual change of coaching for them over the period of the last 6 or 7 years, and it really starts to tell now. As there's just no continuity in the program. They can't get themselves together. JV probably aren't as playing as well as you would hope. They're not feeding them. The feeder system isn't working as well, and you lose a little bit of interest. They're a Class A school right now. They're playing Class A as a schedule. But off to, I'm sure, a start that they had hoped had not happened here. Dara drops back and falls out. He's going to pass it. He gets it out to number 37 for the Big Red, John Kirpich, who catches it, and he's going to go out of bounds just about the 36-yard line or so where they're going to key it up, and it's going to be 3rd down and probably 6. The way I lay about 3rd down and 6 for the 1st down.
In the backfield, we now have 32 Ben Hynoski and number 45 Mike Lashinsky, who's been playing defensive linebacker position, now in at the fullback position.
Draw play, and that's not going to go real far there as he gets about to the 35-yard line where he stopped, lost about a yard on the play, so it should bring up now 4th down and about 7 And Mount Carmel area will go back into punt formation. And the only interest I have here is who they actually send back in punt formation.
Punt.
Who's going to do that?
Well, they have to have some, they have to give someone some experience here. So that's number 3, Johnny Dara.
There you have it, Dara. And that follows in line because the regular punter is the quarterback, also Shinsky. So we're gonna keep this thing rolling and have another quarterback punt. So Dara will punt and does. Nice high punt, gets it way up in the air. The ball hits down at the 43-yard line of the Panthers and will roll dead at the Panther Valley 38-yard line, where they'll take over 1st and 10, and the clock continues to run. It is now 6 minutes and 25 seconds and counting to the end of this football game.
Now we got 57, Shane Geary. We're getting some new people in now. 67, Jason Dillo. 89, Dan Evans.
Urich looks at the sidelines, and nice catch that time. I'll wait and see the number when he pops up there. He was under good coverage, but the ball went out to number 12, and I'm not going to be able to tell you who that is because I don't have a clue. He doesn't have a number 12 on the program, so I almost gave you who that was, but still, whoever he is, it was a great catch. A lot of focus on the ball. Urich threw it up kind of high and let him sit down there a little while, so he could also get killed making that kind of play, but he did make a nice play. 1st down and 10 for the Panthers as they move in the Mount Carmel area territory. The ball sitting on the Mount Carmel area 39-yard line. Handoff in the backfield, and this one's going to lose a yard or so. He's brought down by number 30 and number 61 for the Red Tornadoes. That's Owens and Kovaleski on the stop.
Number 75, John Aramic, is in that left tackle position.
Well, Aramic is 6'4", 275 pounds, gang, so he's a sophomore. My goodness. Urich throws it out, and Beaver just barely misses the interception as he sticks out that big hand and tries to haul it in. But there you saw Beaver, a pretty large guy, to tell you the truth, and showed some real speed that time as he got rolling, and showed you what he can do as he broke that pass up. And for a linebacker to get out where he did, I'm pretty impressed. Clock continues to roll. 4 minutes and 10 seconds now in the ball game. Mount Carmel area out comfortably, 48-0. Panthers in Mount Carmel area territory. It is 3rd and 12 now as the young junior quarterback Urich brings them to the line. Passing formation, he drops back under a little bit of pressure, sends it out, and he bounced it right off the thigh pad there. That guy's, he's thinking to himself, do I want to stand up or not on this one?
Yeah, he was definitely open. He had enough time to throw the ball. He did find a seam. There was good coverage. The defensive linebackers, everybody dropped back into the zone. But it's the receiver it's his job to find a seam someplace in that defensive zone, and he found it.
Fourth and 12. Urich brings him up. Split backfield. Urich goes back to pass. He's rolling out. He's bet the big guy 66 chasing him. And he's going to go down. Number 57. That's Shane Geary. Will tackle Urich in the backfield for the loss. And the Panthers will surrender the ball on that 4th down play. Mount Carmel will take over 1st and 10. The ball sitting on the Mount Carmel area 45-yard line. 2 minutes and 46 seconds now remaining in the ball game.
Now, you take a look at this the second squad here that's been playing for the whole quarter. You're talking about some good experience here.
Oh, yeah.
Not only that,
goodness.
now they come back on Monday again. The JVs will play. So these same kids, they'll be playing like a game and a half each week.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Looking sharp. I like this big guy, 75, though. John Aramic, 6'4", 275 offensive tackle. I like this guy. Got to keep my eye on him.
Nope.
Pitch it out, and we fumbled. And the Panthers will recover the fumble as the pitch got away from us in the backfield. Number 30, Kovalevsky, did all he could, but the ball bounced off his shoulder pads as it came high to him. So the Panthers recover the fumble, and they'll set up shop 1st and 10 at the Mount Carmel 37-yard line.
We're under 2 minutes. And again, you know, we had the mercy rule almost for the whole 4th quarter here, and you can see the difference. It does move the game along.
Oh, yeah. That's good, because I need my beauty sleep. Let's face it. I can't be staying up this late all the time.
Let me tell you what, you haven't been getting much of it.
I'll ignore that remark.
Okay.
Urick sets up, swing pass out of the backfield, and he's crunched in there by Shane Geary, number 57, and who gets off there, 56, Beaver.
Oh, listen, before I forget, for Carol up at the bank, I promised her oink, 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 oink. Just so you know that.
I'm not touching that whole thing. So whatever that cryptic thing just was, I'm glad you got it out of your system, but I'm concerned.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oink. I missed one.
Oink. Okay. 56 seconds remaining in the ball game and counting as Urick drops back one more time the pass under heavy pressure. And
a little bit of holding there on number 57.
I was going to say, I don't know how he didn't throw the flag.
Shane Geary
had his entire jersey being held right in front of the guy, and he doesn't throw the flag. And that might, I think that might be part of the mercy rule on that one, is let's not do it. but surely right in front of him, he grabs a hold of his jersey. So 26 seconds. The Panthers will have one more play here on offense before this game comes to an end. And Urick sets him up, and my guess he's going to go. Well, I thought he was going to go deep, but he didn't. He goes around the end, and number 35 for the Red Tornadoes gets set up. That's Robbie Shivelhood. Yeah. And Shivelhood gets a hold of him and puts him down. And that, ladies and gentlemen, 3-2-1-0 is the end of this football game. And the Panthers come out on the short end of a 48-0. It stopped at 2 minutes and 4 seconds, and I only think it stopped because it was a mistake.
I don't know how they can stop it. It was somebody called timeout.
You're a kid down there. I'm going to come down and kill him. You mind?
No, go ahead.
All right, he's aggravating me. All right, one more play on offense. As I'm not sure how the clock didn't keep running on that play, but it didn't. So brings up 4th down and 4, and Urick has one more shot, although I didn't think so. And he's rolling and rolling out. Big number 89 is chasing him. And there it is. It hits the ground. He had enough of a chance down there. Dan Evans was the guy putting all the pressure on Urick as he rolled out there. And that, ladies and gentlemen, mercifully is the end of this football game. So the Panthers having a real tough outing here tonight. Again, a rivalry that goes back almost as long as Wayne's been alive. But Mount Carmel area very happy with this game. A couple of things we always look at here. Of course, Veach, an outstanding night again. Well over 200 yards rushing on the ground. Mount Carmel will I'm guessing, over 400 yards total offense again. Maybe a little bit more than that even, as they were really churning up some offense here against the Panthers. Defensively, shutting the Panthers out. They had absolutely no real threat in the ball game.
Well, in the first half there, they were at negative -5 yards for 21 carries. And they only had 32 yards in the air. The defense, what can you say? There's not too much you can say. The second game of the season here against Wyomissing and against the Panthers. This offensive line has really made itself known, I think. I'm sorry, both offense and defense. The defense of the middle of that line, the core of that line, is just showing you how strong they are, and they're not going to give up anything. No. The offensive line, of course, blowing some holes there for Ziegler, for Lentini when he carries the ball, and of course for John Veach. John Veach getting downfield 5 yards, and of course, you know, anything happens once he gets past the linebackers. He's cutting cross field. He's doing whatever he possibly can, and we were told at the beginning of the season that John Veach was like night and day from last year. the way he was going to run. And of course, he showed it, in the second game again. Well over 200 yards in this game.
Well, we looked down the road, of course, and the first big speed bump of the season, and it didn't take long to get to them, and they are going to come in the form of the Southern Columbia Area Tigers, ladies and gentlemen. We will be traveling to Tiger Stadium over near Catawissa.
That's right.
Where we will meet the Tigers next week in a highly touted, looked at game throughout the state of Pennsylvania as probably the number 1 and 2 teams in A and AA will clash early in this season. Coach Brennan will get his first taste of big-time rivalry as that stadium will be packed to the gills as it always is. The Tigers bringing the whole 9 yards with them again. They are favored to win the Class A championship this year. Certainly, we're hopeful for the Class AA championship. So this will go a long way next week in telling everybody where exactly we are. And I know, Coach Brennan's idea of this thing, and from what we see from him, is, and rightly so, he's so excited and anticipating it. It's like, I don't worry about this thing. I want to get this thing teed up and let's see what we can do. So.
You take a look at these two teams and you wonder from both of them, Southern Area side and Mount Carmel side, where they come up with the athletes year in and year out. They've had a great tradition over there in Southern Area. This year, again, they come up with a big line again. They come up with Caskey, the quarterback, who's been there for 3 years now and is just doing an outstanding job. And, it's just amazing what they're doing in their program. Again, the Tornadoes doing the exact same thing, coming off a season last year where everybody thought that was a rebuilding year last year. And these kids, they just stepped forward and showed everybody, went down to Hershey, and just played their hearts out down there. Come into this season and they're just gangbusters again, just like Southern Area. So it's going to be a great game. It's turning into one of those rivalries that hopefully will never end.
No, and we had talked about it so much, and again, you can never talk about it enough. We go over to a school that, and the refreshing part of this is it's a great rivalry, but it's also a great time. So many people over there that everybody knows. The two sides of fans are so familiar with each other, and there's no animosity. There's nothing like that. It's just a good rivalry. People are cheering, and people are going all out, over this thing, and everybody. So, win or lose, you still walk away with a fairly good feeling that you had a good time and you enjoyed yourself. It's just really a big step. It's going to go a long way in showing us where we are. And the meat of the schedule, of course, coming at us now. We're going to start seeing the big ones, the Southerns, the Shamokin coming up after that.
North Schuylkill after that.
Allentown. So this is it. This is crunch time. We got 2 games under our belt. We looked real good. We had no injuries, and that's what you want. You want to go into a big game with everybody healthy. We apparently will do that too. So other than that, it's a matter now of putting that ball in a tee, kicking it off, and seeing who's going to come out of there with some bragging rights. That's what it comes down to. So, ladies and gentlemen, we look forward to that game. Of course, this is a Wednesday night broadcast. In 2 days, we will be there. We hope you're there live.
Right.
If you can't make it live, you tune in and see us on WKMC TV. We'll be there. And for that station and all the guys and girls here that make this thing work, I'm Warren Altamar.
Wayne Brokenshire.
Good night.